So I wasn't going to do a video on this, but because I'll explain it to you in a minute. But I've got a tractor that I've worked on before for a guy. He used to be my old neighbor, and he had contacted me and asked me if I still worked on stuff, and I told him yeah. But it came in for a basic service, and that's basically why I wasn't going to do a video on it, because I was just going to service it, get it out of here, you know, make my money off of it, whatever. But it's turned into a project. So this tractor I've done before. It's a 2210 John Deere. It's got a belly mower and as you can tell, it's in pieces. So I started on this. He contacted me and said that he had a vibration and it sounded like a sheet metal rattle. And before I went and picked it up, I started it up and I was like, oh yeah, the belt's loose, it's cracking, it just needs a new belt. And the blades were wore out on it too, so I replaced the blades. So the deck, I replaced the deck belt. It was worn out, it was real loose. The back side of it, when it was running, it was just flopping around. So I replaced the belt, which you got to take the two covers off, and there's a little snap or a little C-clip in here you take off, and this pulley raises up so you can get the belt out, and then you take the two bolts off of the gearbox and flip that up so you can slide the belt out, and then you can replace it. Put new blades underneath it and greased it, because obviously it's here for a service. Last year I had done excuse me, I had done service on this, and you can kind of tell a little bit. This shaft got beat up because one of the U-joints went out. So I put new U-joints in this shaft last year, and you know, greasable U-joints, because I think the old ones were non-greasable. But I did that. I changed the oil, cleaned the air filter out, checked all the other fluids, everything was good. Went to test mow it, and I drove it down, everything was fine, kicked the deck on, started to rev it up, and then I heard that rattle noise, and I thought, what the heck? And once I started to mow a little bit, I mean, I revved it way up, and it just started rattling really bad. And okay, so I shut the deck off, and then the rattle would go away. So I was, all right, I'll pull it back up here and look at it. So when I started driving, I noticed the rattle would come back. I was like, okay, it has nothing to do with the deck. It has something to do with being under a load. And in that instance, in my head, I already knew what it was without looking. And I kind of already knew this might have been an issue to begin with. Wasn't looking forward to taking it apart, because on a lot of these compacts, they have a main drive shaft that runs from the engine, which is up here, there's a flywheel, the flywheel's right here, to the hydro, which the engine drives this back here, which controls all your hydraulics, your driving system, so on and so forth. And I knew exactly, as soon as I was doing it, what it was. This drive shaft, as you can see, it's all beat up, and it is, that U-joint is gone. So I knew as soon as I heard all that rattling noise, I knew the U-joint was bad, and I thought, well, I wonder how bad it is. I wonder if I can just replace the U-joints. No. especially with how much work it takes, because you got to remove the seat, you got to remove the ROPS, you got to remove the fenders so I can get it up enough to be able to remove the platform. I had to remove the dash, so the dash panels and all of that just to get down to that, and I still haven't got it out yet. So to get it out, I got to take this plate out right here and somehow get a roll pin out of the drive shaft. And I told myself when before I left work that I needed to grab punches, and I didn't. So I'm going to figure out a punch or something. I'll probably have to rig one up, and I may have one in there. I don't know. I've used screwdrivers in the back or in the past, but we're just going to have to see how easy this comes out. So I'm hoping this comes out pretty easy and goes back in easy. So I had to contact the owner and tell him, like, look, you know, because if it's a high dollar part, I don't pay for it. I make the customer pay for it. So like this shaft from Deere is $400. It's actually $420. And for this whole drive shaft and the U-joints. And I know they come greased. I'm going to go ahead and shoot some grease in them anyway, just so I know that they're pretty well greased. And the funny thing is they have grease zerks on these. And I thought, got grease zerks on them. That's kind of weird. How are you supposed to grease those? Because first off, this one is shoved way up in there, and there's no access panel to get to that grease zerk. This one, maybe. You might be able to come up underneath if you get this positioned right to where the grease zerk points down, and then you can grease it. Sure. You can see that one. There is an access panel here. But this panel here sits behind here. Nobody's ever going to take that off to grease that. Because as you can tell, there's a little hole down there that you might be able to squeeze the grease gun up through, but there's no way you're actually going to be able to get absolutely on top of the grease zerk. So, not really sure how you're supposed to grease that, but apparently it's greasable. Nobody knows it, probably knows that they're greasable. And then they go out, and which amazes me that it's greasable to begin with, because the way everything is nowadays, there's no bearing, no U-joint, no nothing that's greasable anymore, unless you replace it with a greasable U-joint or bearing. But then this happens. Then you got to tear the whole thing down. I didn't film me tearing it down. It got dark. I was already irritated. It was raining, and I just wanted to get it apart so I knew what it was. I could take pictures of it. I can show the customer what was going on. And it was a pain. But hopefully I can get that put back together today. That's what I'm going to work on. I'm going to try to get that shaft on. I'm going to try to get it back together. It's going to take a little bit. But that's what I'm working with right at the moment. So I'm going to get to it. Alrighty, I'm done. Got her all done up, cleaned up. Test run it. Mowed her in some thick grass, and I mean some real thick grass. So I got some stuff out here that hadn't been mowed in a while. I mean, it was piled up all over. But test run was good, and it's ready to go back. Everything was greased and serviced up and whatnot. So everything was working like it's supposed to. Sounds good. No more noise. Sounds like it's supposed to. But that being said, that's going to be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. God bless you.